In this video, I want to talk for a few minutes about finding the midpoint of a line segment in the plane. This is another powerful tool we have available to us, and this will be of use later when we deal with circles and with some other applications as well. Okay, so but first, I want to show you how we come up with the formula again for finding the midpoint of a line segment connecting 2 points. So let's say again that we're given 2 points A, which we'll say is x1, y1. So that's right here. And then we'll have B, which is x2, y2. Okay? And you want to find the midpoint in the line segment connecting A and B. All right, so there's the line segment connecting A and B. And I want to find what this midpoint, what the point for the midpoint is going to be. All right, so let's draw our right triangles again. Okay, hopefully it makes some sense to say if we have the point C, which we said was x2, y1, okay? If we wanted to find the midpoint between A and C, we would just do really the only thing we have to worry about is x1 and x2. We would just do x1 plus x2, and we would divide it by 2, okay? And that would give us this point here, okay? And if we wanted to find the midpoint between C and B, we would just do y1. Let me label this, actually. Midpoint C. And if we wanted to find the midpoint between C and B, we would do y1 plus y2, and we would divide that by 2. Okay? So, naturally, this point here in the middle is just going to be x1 plus x2 divided by 2. And then the y component is going to be y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay? So that's really all we have to do here for coming up uh, um, with the midpoint between these two points. Okay? So this is the midpoint for AB, or the line segment connecting A and B. Okay? This is another one that I think it would be wise to memorize. I'm not going to ask you to explain to me how you get this formula on a test or anything, but I just figured it'd be good to show you once again how that formula is something we come up with. But let's say again, maybe that we are given, let's say we're given the point A is equal to, let's draw a little line here so we know. We're doing an example now. We have A is the point -5, 7. And we'll say B is the point 3, -1. We want to find the midpoint of the line segment connecting A and B. Okay? So all we have to do is use our midpoint formula. Okay? And it's just given by, like I said up here, x1 plus x2 divided by 2. And then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That's our midpoint formula. So all we have to do is plug everything in. If we say this is x1 and y1, and this is x2 and y2, as long as we're consistent here, we should be able to find our midpoint. So we have -5 plus 3 over 2. And it looks like we have 7 plus -1 over 2. All right, so -5 plus 3, that is going to be -2. over 2. And then over here we have 7 plus negative 1. That's 7 minus 1. Or here we have 6 over 2. And this is going to simplify to negative 1, 3. So that's our midpoint. Okay, and one question I often get here is, does it matter which point we say is point 1 and which point we say is point 2? So here we have A, we get x1 and y1, and B, we get x2 and y2. Does it matter if we flip it? And the answer is no, it doesn't matter at all. Okay, so let's show this. What happens if we flip it? Okay, if we flip it, we'll say that we'll say that A equals negative 5 and 7. We'll say that this is x2 and this is y2. And we say that B is, what we say, 3, negative 1. This is x1 and y1. It won't matter at all. Okay, that's my claim here. Let's make sure this is true. Okay, so if we plug in our stuff here, we have so we'll have 3 plus a negative 5 over 2, and then we'll have negative 1 plus 7 over 2, which is just 3 plus negative 5, that's negative 2 over 2. And then here we have negative 1 plus 7, that's 6 over 2. Simplifying again, we get negative 1 and 3, which is the same thing we had before. So which point is 1 and which point is 2 doesn't matter at all. However, this is important. Understanding which values are our x values and which values are our y values, that does matter, okay? So the first value is always going to be your x value at any point. So the first value will always be x, and the second one will always be y, okay? So that is very important. You flip those two, and you're going to get an entirely different answer. Hopefully this was of some help for finding the midpoint of a line segment in the plane.